Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review, another anniversary slash revisit review. This time, a film from now from 1978, so 40th anniversary, on a sequel, and that is of I'll still say it's a solid sequel, good sequel. I would say still Jaws 2. Now, a few years ago, it's already been like a few years since I reviewed the 40th anniversary of Jaws. Jaws, once again, is I still say it's still a masterpiece of a film, one of the greatest films of all time. So yeah, it's already been a few years since I did a 40th anniversary of that. Now I'm here revisiting a 40th anniversary for Jaws 2. Now with Jaws 2, it was a lot of good films came out during the year 1970. You got my favorite zombie film, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, um, John Carpenter's Halloween, and among other films as well. And I love all those films. But Jaws 2, I still say it's still a very good, solid sequel. Still, but I also say that Jaws 2 is still a very solid sequel. And Jaws 2 came out uh, year 1978, where a lot of good films came out. Like my favorite zombie film, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and then John Carpenter's Halloween, and then some other films as well. But still really good sequel. I know it's not on par with Jaws 2 because that's the first Jaws because that's a masterpiece, one of the greatest films of all time. But still, Roy Scheider, who comes back as Chief Roy, does a great job. Director John Zwank, I mispronounced his name. I think he's French. I think he go on to direct Supergirl with Helen Slater, and he go on to direct various TV episodes. I think for Smallville as well. But the score by John Williams, who comes back, does a score. He still does a good job with the score. Lorraine Gary comes back as Chief Roy's wife. Murray Hamilton as Mayor Vaughn. Jeffrey Kramer as Deputy Hendricks. And then you got the group of teenagers who goes out sailing, where the shark, attacks them while they're out sailing. One of the kids, I think the most recognizable, the character Doug, is played by Keith Gordon. He go on to star in John Carpenter's Christine. Out of the kids, he's the most recognizable to me. But the film was still, even though it was not critically and commercially success like the first film, though, but it still made a profit at the box office. Although it was given mixed, though, which I disagree with. It has like a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.7 IMDb. I still think it's not as bad. People as low people give it make it out to be. I still think it's a fun sequel. Even my brother, he's saying, "Oh, it's not Jaws 2 is not a good sequel." No. Jaws: The Revenge is not a good sequel. But in Jaws 3D, I still think it's a guilty pleasure though. But it's not a good sequel either. But I still think it's a guilty pleasure to me to watch, as a guilty pleasure. But even say Jaws 2 is not a good film. I still say it's a lot of people still say it's a good sequel, and it has much more bigger body count. And I think people, I don't think I mentioned my original review of this though, but I think people say it's more of a slasher film. I think now that I watch it, because I've seen the film a lot of times though, but more I look at it, I can see why now. Because how the way the shark goes after people, like how he goes up to this water skier, takes her out because it speeds up and it catches her, and then this woman attacks a woman on the boat, and I know she's all scared and panicking, but she's trying to pour gasoline, but it pours on herself, and she tries to get a flare gun and shoots at it, but ends up blowing herself up, but scarring the shark, leaving a burn mark on his face. But then Chief Brody, he automatically knows that another shark has come back, and he especially proven it where he finds a beached up dead killer whale. I'm trying to put the words together with bite marks in it. He tries to tell Murray Hamilton. He doesn't believe him, which you should say what happened the first time when there was said there was no shark. No one believed him, and look what happened. Another person got killed. So you think after the first time, you think if you say there's another shark problem, you believe him, but no. And and Roy Scheider he does once again does a good job. I did felt more sorry for him because like I said, he's all paranoid about all this now, even though he does know the truth. And like for instance, when he's on the watchtower, like right there, you see him looking at the watchtower, and he sees something in the distance in the water from the beach, like more of a dark blue spot, and he starts seeing, telling people to get out of the water. He starts shooting at it, but it was like really some type of group of fish. And then he gets there's this camera from the opening of the movie where these two divers, they were looking at the wreckage of the Orca, the first movie, and they find the camera. They did have the film developed, and he sees one picture developed. He sees like the eye of the shark. He takes to the mayor and the council, tries to tell them, wait, that's a shark, like, oh, look at the eye, the mouth. They don't believe him, especially the one guy, what was the guy? Oh, what was the guy's name who blamed Brody? It was like, you started a panic on a public beach. What if somebody decides to sue us? That guy. Especially he doesn't believe him. And then, since they don't believe him, they vote in a deleted scene where they talk in the office. They choose to fire. They voted into firing Brody as the chief of police, and it's now given to Jeffrey Kramer, Hendricks. So yeah, they didn't believe him, so they fired him. So, and Mike, his two sons, Mike and Sean, they go out sailing. Even we were told not to, but they go out sailing anyway, and come across some divers or go out lobster hunting. One guy sees a shark, gets scared, and is taken away by an ambulance when Brody gets there, and tells when Hendricks tells the other kids went out sailing, know it was with Mike. They go out after them, and one of the girl, Tina, and with her boyfriend Eddie, they get attacked by the shark. Eddie falls out, and he gets dragged. He's trying to climb up though, but ends up tearing a part of the boat off. That's now I look at it as the slasher part of it. He's all blue. He's trying to get up. He's all bloodied up, and he's trying to try to pull something, but all of a sudden he takes a piece of the boat off with him. So I do see the slasher part of it. I don't know why I haven't thought of it before though. Oh well, probably it's just too much enjoying the film. I didn't think about that. But then the shark goes up to the other kids. But Mike, he gets injured. Well, it puts into one boat by two other guys. They go sail off to get for help, while the other group of kids is sit and wait. And then the helicopter. Well, I know that was one of my favorite scenes of the film. The helicopter tries to help them. Tries to pull them, right? But the shark just appears and then just goes and takes the whole helicopter down, and which causes the blades to break and rip the sails off. Just takes the whole helicopter down. And it was really good. We mixed it with the animatronic shark, pulling the helicopter down. It was really good effects, and especially the whole thing, the shark pulling the helicopter all overboard. And then you get a deleted scene where you see in the deleted scene underwater where the shark is attacking the pilot. But then Sean gets separated, goes under the boat. The other girl tries to help him. She can't get up, and then the shark snatches her. And then back on the shore, then Lorraine Gary, Chief Brody's wife, tells that guy who basically fired Brody. He was, oh, I'm so sorry about all this, and Miss Brody is not having it. It's like, I don't give a damn what you think. All I know is a boy is dead, and my son and husband are still out there. And every time I watch this thing, I'm just thinking, you know what? Serves you right, you know? Serves you right for firing him. That's what you get for not believing it, you know? The mayor should, especially the mayor should have known better the first time when the shark incident happened. So yeah, but it serves that guy right, you know? It makes him feel like a jackass now. When Chief Brody says there's a shark problem, you listen. So then the group of kids, they reach Cable Junction. They get stuck, and Chief Brody gets there, and which I know is the most obvious mistake I've seen, because like when they find Tina, right, and Chief Brody gives his jacket to his wife, and she was still wearing when she was confronted about the guy who didn't believe Chief Brody. She was still wearing it, but when Chief Brody gets to the kids, he's wearing that jacket again. So I don't know how it just magically teleported to him. I mean, that's the most obvious goof I've seen in a film. One of the most, you know. So she was wearing the jacket. The next, when she's finding the kids, he's wearing it. But I just had to point that out. Still, the shark attacks them. He crashes the boat. He pulls these. He tells him to pull these hooks over, but he gets caught in the power cable. Shark attacks him again, and then he gets the idea where he's gonna use to electrocute. He's gonna make the bite the cable. So he's just in there. He's like, "All right, you big bastard, come on!" And then he's like, "Come on!" As it open wide, say ah! Bites it, fries the shit out of it. You know, fries it, electrocute and catches it fire and all that. And then all's good. They're now just sitting there to wait to be rescued. So yeah, it was a quick walkthrough because I've already viewed the film before. You can just check out my original view. It's more longer than this though, but still. Like I said, 40 years later, it's still a good sequel. It's not as bad. I don't think it's not as bad. Especially my brother, he's just full of nonsense. Because like he hasn't seen the film enough where I've seen him. I think it call it a good sequel. I just feel sometimes my brother's just full of it, you know. Just says it to piss me off. Well, the Jaws 3 and 4 is understandable though, but for Jaws 2, I completely disagree. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. But I thought the director did a good job directing. I know he's not on the same level with Steven Spielberg from the first film, not by a long shot, but it was still good directing. The effects are still good. John Williams' score was still was good. I know not on the same level as his previous score from the first film, but still, good score. Roy Scheider, may rest in peace. Still do a great job as Chief Brody. Because I felt sorry for him, because especially if they didn't believe him the first time, and then they kind of get firing him. When Chief Brody says you got a shark problem, you listen. The rest of the cast do good job as well. But as for the kids, they were like natural, not as annoying kids. They were just kind of like natural. And I do get the whole, now I see the whole slasher part of it, because you know the shark got burned, more bigger body count, how the kills are. So I do see that now, because I don't know why I didn't think about it before. And for features, has a making of Jaws 2, portrayed by actor Keith Gordon, the music by John Williams, deleted scenes, etc. It's not that long. Well, it says it's over 2 hours though, but I don't think it's not that long of a. The pacing was good though. I don't think it was not that long or boring. But yeah, 40 years later, I still think it's a good sequel. Still is. So that's my little revisit / anniversary review. 40th anniversary of Jaws 2. Definitely, I would say definitely a thumbs up. If you have 2. But I don't think it's not as bad as some people think it is. But there's still people who like the sequel. So I'm not alone in that. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned in the next movie review. Later.